Welcome to the Dagnamit Boys. It is a November 27th. It is 5:51 or 4:51. Sorry, my watch is wrong. It is 5 days before Cooper is planned to have a rap battle with Eminem.
Yeah.
So far, you have shown me you've only written one rhyme so far, and I'll say it on the podcast if you're fine with it.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. You say, Marshall, you're a little runt. That bitch Haley gonna be an... Oh! I don't know if you know what sort of thing you're walking into.
She's an adult now, though. That rhyme kind of works when she was still a baby, but I think she's older than us.
Well, I don't know why why you picked this particular rhyme, because I mean it's well known Eminem does not stand for people making fun of his child, and also she is older than us.
Yeah.
So, have you written anything different since then? Have you maybe tried to switch it up? I mean, this is going to ruin your life. I hope you know that.
Well, I wrote that to show that I'm like old school. So to show that I'm like an old OG rap head, I always talk about like, man, when Haley grows up, he ain't raising her right. She gonna be on the pole. And people are like, she's like a grown woman. And I think she just has like a regular job.
Yeah.
Was she like big on TikTok for a little?
I don't know.
She might have been like dancing on TikTok. I mean, that's what I would do if you're the son of a daughter of a rich person. You just dance on TikTok.
I mean, I've heard that you're promoting it. You're using it as a promotion. I mean, this is going to tank your album, South Central Trailer Trash.
Yeah, it's the Christmas Came Early Busters promotion.
Yeah.
It's saying y'all don't need to wait for your presents because I'm about to unwrap Eminem on stage.
Yeah, yeah.
And he has agreed to do it on my own turf, which is the Comedy Store Belly Room. We were going to do it at the Lyric Hyperion, but then they read some of Eminem's lyrics and thought that his subject matter did not align with their vision for the venue.
Yeah.
And they would have read some of my lyrics, but I don't have any songs out. I don't rap, and I've never rapped.
Yeah. I mean, you do have this album planned, though. I mean, what's if you don't have any like lyrics? Then...
Well, I have that album, but I just haven't released it yet, and I wasn't going to give them. Lyric asked me to give them some of my lyrics from that album, and I was like, well, no, because if I give them to you, some people could steal my rhymes.
Yeah.
And that album's not out yet, so I can't claim the rhymes if the album's not out. So I'd love to.
Yeah.
But if I give you the lyrics right now, then I'd be at risk of having rhymes stolen.
I'd hate for this to turn into an interview because it is a
right.
This is our podcast.
But now it's a little bit Nardwuar, verse musician.
Yeah. I do want to ask about your album that's coming out, South Central Trailer Trash. Talks about your story of growing up in Inglewood, in a trailer park. I do want to ask, you're from Northridge, correct?
Woodland Hills.
Woodland Hills.
Yeah.
Why do you say that on the album?
The album, well, because there's where you're from, and then there's, the place that made you.
Yeah.
And so after moving out of my house, I moved into the only trailer park in Inglewood. And I used to get shit on.
You were 21 years old?
Yeah. I used to get shit on by everybody in the projects because I lived in a trailer park in Inglewood.
Yes.
And everybody would be like, this motherfucker's so broke, he don't even live in the projects. He live in a trailer park in Inglewood. And it was like somehow swampy and shit. Even though Inglewood is just, it's just...
I heard there's There's alligators in that park.
Yeah, theirs was gators and crawdads, crickets and rickets and all kinds of things. So, like, real kind of a Dirty South vibe, but coming out of Inglewood.
Interesting.
And people always hated us for the way we drive our cars and how we, sip mud, and we had, big gold grills and shit like that, because that just wasn't the style in Inglewood back in...
This was 4 years ago?
Yeah, this was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But back then, that wasn't the style. But, it was sort of a Houston vibe in Inglewood in the year 2021. I lived there for about 2 years, so like 2021 to 2023.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just, I kept saying like, the South has something to say.
Yeah.
And they'd always be, talking all this mess like, motherfucker, you are not from the South. You are not from Inglewood. You are from Woodland Hills, and you parked a van outside of Grape Street talking about, I live in a trailer park, I'm trailer nasty. Because I'd walk around in overalls, no shirt, no shoes, and I'd call myself Fuckleberry Finn.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck with me, Finn.
Okay.
And I'd say it as much as he did.
Oh, interesting.
That was my thing.
How is it like working with the producer Bangladesh?
That motherfucker gets on my nerves.
Oh, yeah?
Because he's always like, oh, why don't you do that verse again? You were off beat. And I just go into the studio and I grab him by the hair and I punch him in the back as hard as I can.
That's very interesting. A lot of people have similar stories about Bangladesh.
So the album's bad.
The album's bad?
Yeah, the album's bad. I thought
Is it bad in the colloquial sense, as in good?
No, it's like sonically not good.
Would you say the album's fat?
I mean, there's a lot of different sounds in it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of different people to work on it, and I got musicians and Billy Strings, prominent bluesgrass artist, came in and did some stuff, and I tried to rap over that, and I just couldn't.
I heard you sampled Sun House on your third track.
Yeah, we did
Hillbilly Blues.
Yeah, we did Hillbilly Blues, Death Letter, and then I sampled Grinnin' in Your Face, but only the clapping parts. If you know that song, it's just him singing and clapping, and the clapping is offbeat, and I tried to rap on that. That sucked too. So that wasn't good either. So I don't know. We tried to do a lot of shit. We did a Shake It and Break It sample from what's that guy's name? Charlie something. It's like a really old song that's like so like grainy sounding. It's almost impossible to sample. So we just sampled the grain, just only the background noise, and I tried to rap over that. So it's just me being like, fuck your bitch in the trailer park, and then you just hear like so it just kind of sounds like I'm in a lot of wind.
Oh, okay.
But it was cool. I mean, we recorded it on top of Mount Wilson.
Okay.
That's like 30 minutes outside of Pasadena. There's an observatory up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just drove up there, and I took the mic out of the car. Like, so there's a lot of natural wind too, because that's something I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
That was something I wanted, and then I found out later that just doesn't sound good. So it's you can kind of hear me softly in the background, but most of what you hear is just like, because it's really windy. It's like a tall mountain. I mean, it's an observatory. It was built to raise above the city lights.
And there's a track in particular. It's towards the end. It's an 8 or 9 minute track called "Rapping Against the Wind."
Yeah, so that was kind of me doing a rap battle against the wind.
Yeah,
and when we listened back, because we kind of didn't know who would win until we listened, and the wind won. So honestly, a lot of the songs are. How
are you going to beat Eminem if you can't beat the wind? Is the question everybody wants to know.
My thought is, as my thought was when I punched a guy at an open mic, and as my thought has been my entire life, that if I can't beat a guy with words, I just immediately get physical.
But that's interesting because, I mean, as it said, you were from Woodland Hills. Eminem is from Detroit.
I deny that. I need to see proof.
He's from Detroit, a much rougher area. I mean, a lot of people would think maybe Eminem could probably take you even in his 50s. And
yeah, but he's not from 8 Mile. He's from like 6 Mile, which is like a little bit better than 8.
Oh, that's interesting.
From what I've heard, actually.
Interesting.
So I think he's kind of capping. And honestly, it's just like, I talk is cheap, and people say a lot of shit, but I ain't never seen the deed to his mama's house. And so until I see that, motherfucker could be from...
But you have shown everybody the deed to your parents' apartment in Woodland Hills.
I made that clear. Yeah. Yeah, my dad lived in an apartment off Topanga Canyon. I showed him the deed to that. My mom leased a duplex in Woodland Hills. I also showed him the deed to my childhood house off Cass Avenue. Everybody knows where I'm from. Everybody knows I'm a fucking liar. Everybody knows I'm completely fronting where I am when I say I'm from Inglewood. They know I'm lying. I'm pretty straightforward about that. I've never lied about how much I'm fronting where I'm from. But the thing with Eminem is just, once again, it's like, sure, we got this movie. He's famous. Some people say they know him. Some people say they've seen him. But until I see anything on paper...
And a lot of people in Inglewood have said that they've literally never seen you. They don't know where the trailer park is supposed to be. They call you a liar, and you say yes. It's like track 11, I'm a liar.
I said I drove through it. That's enough.
Yeah.
I said I drove through it, and I said, this place is fucked up.
You said you drove through it and thought of some good areas for trailer parks. You said this is where the white people should live.
I drove through it and I said, this is where I would be, but there's no fucking way I'm staying here. And then I just thought about the history of like racist LA zoning and creating poor communities based on race and trying to disenfranchise people through that. And I wrote a song about that, but...
It's called This Shit Is Good.
Yeah, it's called This Is Great. And it's just me. It's actually not... I didn't write any of the lyrics. I stole the rhymes on that. It's just from a book about the history of redlining in Los Angeles and the creation of places, you know, is all the way down to Skid Row.
Yes.
But, you know, you have different levels of it. Skid Row is where you dump homeless people. Rampart Village was more a neglected area.
Yeah. I do enjoy your track about the homeless situation in Los Angeles.
It's also called
Yuck.
Yeah, it's called Yuck. It is good, though. Yeah, I have that. I have the one track that says the Slauson Red Line was a matter of safety.
Yeah.
I say that. So a lot of people are accusing me of being an advocate for structural racism.
And they are correct.
And they'd be correct. And I stole my rhymes. And I'm not from Inglewood, and I openly lie about that.
Even though the album is called South Central Trailer Trash.
But, you know, I do still hold it down that Eminem is from Montgomery, Alabama, and he's never been to Detroit. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it, but so far I haven't seen it. And if you ask me, the guy in that movie about him isn't even him. I think that's Carrot Top.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so a lot of people are saying...
all right. Siri, is 8 Mile, is it Carrot Top? I don't have Siri on my phone. That would have been cool if I did, but I do not.
Yeah, you just got Cyrus.
Yeah.
He's just the guy that tells you to shut the fuck up and go make some money.
Yeah, I got Cyrus. He says some racist ass shit to me.
Yeah, Cyrus is saying fucked up stuff. But yeah, I mean, this whole like venture into rap over the last few months of just stealing rhymes, lying where I'm from, capping on not only my own but others' names. A lot of people are saying like, oh, well, he's so ridiculous, we'll just disregard him. Mm-hmm. But I just keep saying shit. Like when Kendrick's mixtape came out, I was like, I was on the mixtape. I was on it. And you can listen to me in the mixtape.
How would you describe... So when Kendrick released "They Not Like Us," you had a comment on it that was very controversial. You said, "I think pedophilia is good. Kendrick, if you keep talking this shit, I'm gonna beat Haley's ass." Haley is Eminem's child.
Haley has been the vector of most of my anger and emotion because I just don't know where to put it. And as with a lot of men in America, they usually just displace it on women who had nothing to do with it. And I don't really believe in that, but I've just heard that's a thing guys do. And I'm kind of looking for my place in life, so I just fell in line with the history of misogyny. But
so you're very much what people would call a historic. You have a kind of a historic mindset.
I'm a bad guy, yeah. And yeah. I more than just a response, I released my own track that said, "I'm the they." I am they. And I spoke from the perspective of they. And
how it's cool to be they.
Yeah, and that got like 14 views on YouTube before it got taken down for just, you know, straight up supporting pedophilia. Which once again, I'm capping on because I've never...
You've never met a child?
No, I've never been a pedophile, never will be. I have no sexual attraction to children. But
you're such not a pedophile. You don't remember your own childhood.
No, because I would be like, if I had a memory of my childhood penis, and I'd be thinking about some shit that ain't right to think about. So I just don't.
So really, you only say this stuff to get a reaction, to make people feel bad.
Well, in my heart of hearts, I think that what I'm doing is poignant, but it's really all just sort of lowest common denominator. What's the most offensive thing? Because I have a rudimentary understanding of what substance actually is.
Okay,
and
interesting.
So I just sort of in a WWE fashion, just the biggest response, I assume, means that I have created something of substance.
Interesting.
And that's how I live. Yeah.
Well, it's. I'm happy to have you on the Dynamic Boys podcast. It's been great talking to you.
And the whole thing, I just want to say real quick, the whole thing about me completely lying about being from Inglewood, part of that is just because I don't remember my childhood altogether. So some people are like, you're from Woodland Hills, and I'm like, I don't remember that. They're like, yes. You went to Woodland Hills Academy, you went to West Valley Christian School, you went to Taft High School, and I'm like, yes. I don't remember any of that.
And during that whole time, you were holding the deed to your childhood home.
When I was saying that, yeah.
Yes.
Because it's like kind of like...
Because you did have to pull it out to show somebody that you were not from Inglewood.
Well, you know how like MF Doom had the mask and that's how people knew him?
Yeah.
People know me by holding the deed to my childhood home, which is in Woodland Hills, California, and now belongs to another family.
Yes.
Yeah, but...
A much nicer family.
Yeah, it's a good family. Good
Yeah.
family. I mean, some trouble at some points, but really not enough to justify the level of delusion and anger that I have for myself and the world.
Yeah.
You know, like stuff that's tough but can totally be worked through.
Yeah.
And I just refuse.
I mean, you know, if you really want to be a great artist, sometimes you do have to confront your own demons and then be like, nah.
Sometimes you got to make up your own. Because
Yeah.
I pay a lot of money for therapy. I go in every week and I'm like, do you realize I had gunshots outside my window every single night growing up? And, you know, he just believes me because why wouldn't he? It's just like, why would you pay $250 a week to just lie to a therapist? But that's what I do. I go in there and I lie and I'm like, I grew up in an active gang neighborhood. I was part of gangs. I was shot when I was 8. I got turned out. Then I turned some other people out. I was a hoe. I was a pimp. I went from the bottom to the top, straight back to the bottom. And then I realized I'm the king of the bottom. And so
And the whole time you're holding the deed to your childhood home.
I hold the deed to my childhood home almost everywhere I go. I mean, I put it down because you asked me to, but that shit was tough, to be honest. But yeah, I love to lie. All I do is lie. And I like to lie, especially to strangers, because they don't know me, so they just believe me. You know, I tell people I'm going to pay them back, and then I don't, and they're like, why didn't you pay me back? And I'm like, because I never intended to. I just lied to you so you wouldn't think about it.
Well, recently you told me you'd never been outside of the country, and the whole time you were holding your passport, and you just kept flipping it open.
I would just show you stamps from...
Yeah, you
from
show me
like,
stamps.
from places
From like,
I've been to.
from like Norway and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
you would say, I've never been outside of the country, and then you would put it in my face.
Yeah, I'd say I'd never been to Maui, and I'd show you a picture of a family trip I took to Maui as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I like to lie and then just directly show evidence of the lie.
In a way, you're probably the greatest truth teller in America. Well, I say greatest as in the most, but not greatest as in the best, because you're clearly one of the worst.
I want to be clear, I'm the only one with evidence.
Yeah.
Every rapper just says stuff, and people are like, well, why would he lie? And then I lie, and then I show evidence of my lying, and then people still kind of wonder why I lied, but they know I lied.
Yes.
So then there's no illusion to anything.
Well, it's like when Nas said that he had the gun on the he had a gun, and then Jay-Z let everybody know he does not.
I wrote that lyric. I wrote Illmatic.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you were not born when that album was recorded.
I wasn't. So that's the kind of stuff I do. The thing is, if you lie and then you directly show that you lied, in a way, you're kind of always completely honest, and there's really nothing to doubt or wonder at that point.
Oh, yeah.
But me and Nas still kick it, even though we've never met, and that's how I live my life.